Okay, so back to number 6. It says, identify the quadrant in which theta lies. Sine of theta is less than 0. That's just a fancy way, and you may want to put that in parentheses right above that first piece of information. That's a fancy way of saying that sine is negative. So remember, San Antonio Tequila Company, each letter represents the trig function and its reciprocal that is positive in that specific quadrant. For example, quadrant 1, A stands for all, so that means all of the trig functions are positive. In quadrant 2, the S stands for sine, so the only thing that's positive is sine and its reciprocal partner, which happens to be cosecant. Quadrant 3, the only thing that's positive is tangent and its reciprocal partner, which is cotangent. In quadrant 4, the only thing that's positive is cosine and its reciprocal partner, which is secant. So, sine of theta is less than 0, so out of these 4 quadrants, where is sine negative? That means that sine is negative here and here, because in quadrants 1 and 2, they are positive. So that means we're going to scratch those out. We're no longer concerned with those quadrants anymore. So now we're left with 2. The next piece of info says tangent is greater than 0. Now you may want to put this in parentheses right above the piece of information. That's a fancy way of saying basically that tangent is positive. Now, out of the 2 remaining, where is tangent positive? Remember, the letter that you're in, that's the trig function that it's positive. The only quadrant out of these 2 that are left that is tangent is positive would have to be this one. So we're no longer concerned with quadrant 4. This is our answer, so our final answer choice will be the one that will say quadrant. And what quadrant is that? Quadrant 3, exactly. And that is our answer. Okay, let's move on to number 7. Let's see what that one is saying. It says, find the exact value of cosine of 315 degrees. Now keep in mind the key word here is exact. Whenever you see the words exact, that means usually it wants the exact number. It doesn't want you to type it into the calculator, because if it wanted you to type it into the calculator, it would say, use a calculator to approximate. In other words, to estimate. In this case, we're trying to find the exact value. Keyword is exact, so that usually means you have to go to your unit circle. Yes, I will provide you with a unit circle on your midterm exam. So let's go ahead and basically, let me write down the question right quick, get a new one. Let me zoom in. Cosine of 315 degrees. Okay, so now remember, if you remember correctly, cosine on the unit circle represents the x-coordinate, and we're going to see if 315 is a nice angle. Nice meaning, is it on the unit circle? So let's see. 315 happens to be right here. So 315 degrees is right here in quadrant 4, and remember cosine, we want the x-coordinate. So if you look at the x-coordinate of 315, my answer is radical 2 over 2. So this was just a unit circle problem, and that is my solution. Okay, number 8, cosecant is equal to 1.34. Approximate 2 values that satisfy the equation. Okay, so let's go to that one first. No. Alright, so we're given, let me go ahead and... Okay, we are given cosecant of theta is equal to 1.34. Okay, so we don't have a cosecant button in our calculator, but we do know that cosecant likes to pair up with the original trig, its partner or reciprocal, which happens to be sine. So really, this is the same thing as saying 1 over sine of theta. Is equal to 1.34. And if we were to flip both sides, we would get sine of theta is equal to 1 over 1.34. All right, so if we were to plug that into our calculator, now I'm going to show you the calculator way here. Sine of theta is equal to, now for this one, your calculator has to be in radian mode, if I'm not mistaken. I'm not looking at the actual test right now, so you know what, let's just go ahead and, since I'm not looking at the test, go ahead and star this one for me so that we can come back to it once I've actually seen it, since I don't have the actual test in front of me. Alright, so we're going to star this one. That means we are going to come back to it. But in the meantime, let's just go ahead and type in what 1 over 1.34 is. Alright, so we have 1 over 1.34. Or you could do the regular way like in your calculator, which is alpha y equals enter, so you can get it in fraction mode. So we get 0.746. Now ultimately what you're going to do is you're basically going to take each answer choice. Well, actually we can automatically get an answer choice. So if we don't want sine of theta, we're looking for just theta, so we have to take the inverse. So you're going to say theta is equal to sine inverse of 0.746. Okay, so let's go ahead and check. So inverse sine of 0.746. Again, I'm not sure. Okay, I'm pretty sure our answer choices will be in radians now that I'm looking at my answer. So yeah, let's go ahead and just say that yes, we are going to be in radians for this one. So make a note. And when we put our calculator in radians, take the inverse sine, we get our first theta to actually be 0.842 radians. Okay. Now what I think you should do is here, go ahead and eliminate the answer choices that don't have 0.842. I think you'll probably be left with 2 answer choices with that have 0.842. Then to get the next one, just plug it into your original statement, or you can even plug it into the sine of theta equation right here. And if you get 0.746, that makes your statement true, so that would be your answer choice. Okay, and again, we'll come back to that one. You probably need more help on that one, and I need to be here in person. So we'll just stick with it. Let's go on to number 9. Number 9 is stating cotangent of negative pi over 4. All right, so let's go ahead and write that one down. This is number 9, cotangent of negative pi over 4. Okay, there is an identity, more specifically an even-odd identity, and I'm going to put it in red, that says cotangent of negative theta is equal to negative cotangent of theta. Remember, so in that case, that means that cotangent and tangent are odd. Likewise, sine and cosecant are odd. The only even trig function is cosine and its reciprocal partner, which is secant. Okay, so there's an identity right there. So let's go ahead and rewrite our original one as negative cotangent of pi over 4. Okay, what does that mean? That means that I can take my negative, I'm going to continue here at the bottom, cotangent, there's an identity for cotangent that says cosine of pi over 4 over sine. Remember, cotangent is cosine over sine of pi over 4. Okay, so all we have to do now is just remember, let's not forget our negative. Let's go to our unit circle. Cosine represents the x-coordinate, and go to pi over 4. If you're really good at your unit circle, especially because your projects are due this Friday, you should know that pi over 4, or the cosine of pi over 4, is radical 2 over 2. If you don't believe me, I'll show you in a minute. Here's pi over 4 right here. Cosine is radical 2 over 2. Likewise, sine is radical 2 over 2. Alright, so we really have negative and then radical 2 over 2 over radical 2 over 2. Now, anything over itself will reduce to 1. So all of this reduces to 1, but you also have this negative in front, so our final solution will be negative 1. So essentially what we did here, right here, even though you don't see it, I can type it in right quick here. I really did a copy, change, and flip. That's what really happened. And what happened is that everything across from it canceled with each other. And when everything cancels, you're left with just 1. And then again, let's not forget that negative right here. So our answer is negative 1. Okay. The last one is number 10. Very simple again. Tangent of 4 pi over 3. Remember that tangent has an identity that says it is sine over cosine. So we're going to take 4 pi over 3, its angle, and put it over cosine. Remember this time that sine represents your y value. Let's not forget it. Let's not get them mixed up with cotangent. Okay, so let's see. Sine of 4 pi over 3. Go to your unit circle. 4 pi over 3, where is 4 pi? It's right here. We're looking for the sine, which happens to be negative radical 3 over 2. So we have negative radical 3 over 2. And we're going to put it over the cosine, which happens to be the x-coordinate of 4 pi over 3, which is negative 1/2. Okay, right away I'm going to go ahead and get rid of my negatives because a negative divided by a negative gives me a positive. So I'm just going to cancel those out. And I'm left with what method? Copy, change, flip. What happens to my 2's? They cancel. So I'm really left with radical 3 over 1, or simply radical 3. Okay, that is 1 through 10. Make sure that your names are on the packets. Make sure that Holden or Alba pick them up and place them on the tray, which has your appropriate class number on it. And we'll continue with this review on tomorrow. Okay, thank you and have a nice day.